of the NBA. And I know a whole lot of knuckleheads, far worse than Nate Robinson. This dude gets a bad rap.
Nathaniel Cornelius Robinson, aka Nate Robinson, born May 31st, 1984. Today's feature is about a guy I think should still be in the league. He's 36 years old, last played in 2015, and took a huge L in front of a quarantined world all looking through laptop screens and 60-inch TVs. With his focus clearly on other endeavors, that door may already be closed and sealed off for the once three-time NBA Slam Dunk champion, the only three-time dunk contest winner to be exact. He's had a hell of a ride, and his story can be seen as a growth spurt from some perspectives. That is, if you ever doubted him in the first place and didn't believe a guy his size could do what he did. I never doubted Nate Robinson. When he was younger, he was one of the best athletes on the planet, regardless of size. Yet somehow, after 11 seasons and 8 different teams, at just 31 years old, he was out of the NBA. Why was that? Salute to my boy Frank Ellington on IG for this request. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Ash, got him. Nate Robinson is a 5'9" combo guard from Seattle, Washington. He was a star at the famed Rainier Beach High School that's produced its fair share of NBA players. A three-sport athlete that excelled arguably even more in football and track than hoop. Although he led his team to a #1 ranking in the country briefly, State Player of the Year, State Championship, and averaging 18.7 rebounds and 7 assists, he wasn't nationally ranked nor thought of as an NBA talent. It came down to Washington, Oregon, USC, and North Carolina as potential college landing spots in which he chose to stay in state and further his local legacy. Nate's rise from there became anything but local since he stepped foot on campus, and many would get a glimpse of what this kid could do, especially at his size. Stunt number 1, that size. We hear this a lot when speaking about diminutive point guards, and it's human nature to want to see the underdog come out on top and have his day in the sun for once, and that's cool. That's also a position I champion, and Nate Robinson may be the poster child for proving everyone wrong and basking in the glory as that underdog who was never supposed to have made it. As many things this guy has done in the sport and the culture, and as many doubters he's proven he could run with the big boys too, he'll always be synonymous with that 4-letter word that in the career he chose you can't help but take into consideration: size. Numbers, height, weight, leaping ability, length, reach. The numbers are important. In most situations, he found a successful way around that, but in ways like being a liability on defense at the NBA level, a non-factor rebounding the ball, and potential cap on your offensive game, seeing how tough it'll be at some point to consistently get your shots off, he couldn't escape. As a freshman at Washington, Robinson came in with a 3-player NBA caliber freshman class that were all ranked outside the top 20 leaving high school, but made it to the league. He led the team in scoring at 13 points a game after starting in just 10 of them. The definition of an energy injection, which he could have still been to this day had these things not been a factor. In his sophomore season, he decided to focus on basketball and leave the football team after he came to the school as a football scholarship athlete and played 13 games for them as a freshman. He averaged 13 points a game in year 2, but the Huskies failed to make the tournament for a second straight year. As a junior, with scouts now paying attention to this small but strong, charismatic, highly gifted athlete that clearly was next in the same vein as Spud and Muggsy, he didn't disappoint. Leading his team to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA Championships, all-conference first team again, and averaging a once-again team-leading 16 points a game, adding 4 rebounds and 4 assists. He struck while the iron was its hottest, entering the draft, being taken 21 by the Suns and traded to the Knicks that same night. Immediately, he showed that size was his main chip to prove, and did so on most nights, but throughout his career, especially as he got older, he just couldn't shake people and front offices saying, yeah, but that's size. Stunt number 2, maturity and antics.
Dan Tony put that man in the doghouse and with that scrub Nick team they had, they benched this man for about 30 games.
Maturity. In Nate's own words, he admits to not having much of throughout his time in the NBA. Former coaches of his even called him a clown and said that he was incapable of being serious. Add to that, he was young and a first-round NBA draft pick and came into the league to a team ran by Larry Brown, who's famous for his bouts with Allen Iverson and guys like Stephon Marbury. In Iverson's case, Brown got through to him and it changed Allen's entire career and life. Marbury, not so much. Nate fell somewhere in the middle of that because he wasn't a big star like those guys who'd make Larry even consider taking much time out to indulge. He'd simply just bench Nate for a month until he got the message. Nate would do things like clog the showers after a big loss and continuous pranks on teammates who were older and took things more serious than Nate did, who says he was just a kid in a candy store, enamored by all the candy he's seen on TV and just wanted to be seen. I didn't care, he says. I just wanted to be on SportsCenter and wanted all my friends back home to know I was in the league. This thinking and his antics were too much at times for certain teams and coaches and would later help him get traded and not re-signed to situations that were good for his career. Maturity, sadly, is something humans usually don't understand until later in life, and professional basketball players are no different. When you grasp that idea early and let that lead you in your career, it always leads to longevity in some way in life. Mixed throughout all the clowning, Robinson would have his times with the Knicks where he did show glimpses of a real, serious player in the league. Like matched up against his idol Allen Iverson, Allen walked by him in warm-ups and Nate said to his teammate, "I'm about to lock him up, bro. I'm gonna bust his ass." He dropped 17 points and nailed the game-winning 3 over his hero in overtime. Or when he won his first slam dunk title in 2006, showing he could be a potential star in the league, seeing as he had the personality and the it factor that everyone liked, even with the maturity issues. He'd be demoted to the inactive list by Brown in the very same season for physical altercations with Malik Rose and Jerome James. In his second season, he played a huge role in the Knicks-Nuggets brawl, carried by he and J.R. Smith that saw him suspended for 10 games. He'd also have disagreements with new coach Mike D'Antoni, in which he was removed from the rotation for 14 games. On January 1st, 2010, against the Atlanta Hawks, he returned to the lineup and scored 41 points off the bench in the Knicks' overtime victory. He outscored the Hawks alone in overtime, including 21 of the Knicks' final 25 points. And this was the story of young Nate. He could have been a star with the talent he had, but let his attitude, immaturity, and feuds with teammates and coaches get the best of him in an important time, and this gave him a jacket as such that teams didn't take him serious any longer. As you become older and body begin to wear down, your reputation becomes very important.
Nate Robinson, to me, has gotten a bad rap.
Stunt number 3, leaving the Bulls. Nate would have his best years with the Knicks though, including averaging 17 points a game in 08-09, along with 4 assists and serious Six-Man of the Year consideration. His second best full season didn't come until 2012-13 with the Chicago Bulls after playing for the Celtics, OKC, and Golden State. To me, this Chicago stop was Nate's final real shot at sticking in the league, whether he knew it or not. He He fits so well on that team, and I loved him in his position there as the Bulls were looking for a boost after Rose went down. Even down to him wearing a different Jordan every game that looked better on him some nights than Mike himself. He just fit. The city loved him, fans did as well, and after being on so many teams, you'd think his maturity level was much higher, which it was. I was surprised to see him not re-sign with the Bulls, and I think that was it for his chances at being what he should have in the NBA. Once Eastern Conference Player of the Week, averaging 18 points, 6 assists, and 3 steals, ended the almighty Miami Heat 27-game win streak and a 5th in the East finish, but he wasn't done. 12 straight unanswered points in a Game 4 victory against the Nets, less than 3 minutes left in triple overtime, ending with 34 points and winning a decisive Game 7 on the road, the first in franchise history. He went on to score 27 points and 9 assists in Game 1 against Miami and won that game. He had an amazing year. Unfortunately, the Bulls couldn't re-sign him. They didn't expect him to be that good for them, and now his prices had went up. No longer wanting the mid-level minimum, which was all the Bulls had, he had no choice but to sign with the Denver Nuggets for double what the Bulls were offering, in which he later says he misses his time in Chicago. Well, I do too, because he and a healthy D Rose would have been a perfect starter backup point guard duo, and it's sad to never seen that materialize. That was the last great Nate we'd see. With the Denver Nuggets, he struggled and struggled to find minutes and his shot, and was traded, re-signed, waived, re-signed, and waived again, ending his career in New Orleans in 2015. All in all, Nate Robinson was an exciting player and a fan favorite, especially with the Knicks and Bulls, but maturity issues, along with his size and contract failures, stunted what he could have been, which was a little guy that became an all-star and possible Hall of Famer. At that size would have been the first of its kind, something that he was used to. That didn't happen, and for these reasons. Salute to him though. I hope he's doing well in these times. Keep your head up, man. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.
This dude can play. This little dynamo right here. Understand, that when he was in New York, he got on James Dolan's nerves,
Also, visit stuntedgrowth3.com right now. We have some new winter merch for all your fashion needs. We have the Legends Edition package, the Championship Edition, and much more to satisfy your winter fashion. Once again, visit stuntedgrowth3.com right now. Please like and subscribe to this video for more content. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, man. Let's get it.